Hello everybody, Maven here, Happy New Year's, and for today's video I approached it with one theme in mind, and that is that I wanted to end the year with a bang. So if I was going to end it with a bang, I had to come up with a build that can bring the big booms. The first thing that came to mind was obviously the Blastwave Striders, which is an exotic that I have never tried because it is so terrible. There was also the option of Ashen Wake, which is more fun than it is good, but eventually I settled on a Warlock build based around the Chromatic Fire. Now this is an exotic that I never really thought was viable in PvE because the Necrotic Grips just bring so much more to the table in terms of versatility and ad clear potential, but that's why we're bringing it into the Crucible today, pairing it along with one of my all-time favorite exotics, the Necrochasm. I've been craving to use this weapon again for such a long time, but I've never really had an excuse to use it ever since the Kvastov came out because it just outclassed it. But now I have an excuse to use it again, so I am so happy. As you know, the Necrochasm creates these big Cursed Thrall Explosions on precision kills, and the Chromatic Fire creates big explosions on kinetic weapon precision kills. So you combine these two things together, and you got yourself some pretty big booms, perfect for the theme of this video. And with these two things combined, you basically have like the primary equivalent of pre-nerf Cloudstrike. It gets a little bit insane sometimes. So let's break down the build and also what this combo can do. Hope you enjoy. This video is sponsored by Advanced GG, the only clinically proven gaming supplement shown to improve your gaming performance. Use code MAVEN at checkout for 10% off your order. Link down below. Thank you. Now, I'm sure I'm not the only one to think of this combo, so I scoured YouTube to find out just to make sure, and I saw that a lot of people had shorts clips on this combo and some people talked about it for PvE, but to my knowledge, nobody has done a full-length build video on this for PvP. The only person I saw actually talk about this for Crucible, at least for a brief moment, was a YouTuber called I'm a Fork in their video titled The Weirdest Clan in Destiny 2, which is an amazing video, by the way, and you should go and check it out. But as far as I know, I'm the first to actually cover this in a PvP build video, but I just wanted to throw that out there to give credit where credit is due. So anyways, let's read the Chromatic Fire. Kinetic precision final blows will cause explosions that do a thing based on the element of your equipped super. Arc will blind, stasis will slow, strand will sever, void will weaken, and solar will scorch. Now we don't care about anything other than damage, 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 so immediately arc, strand, and stasis are out of the question. Slowing is kind of nice because they can't get away, but we would still much rather have damage. So I went into a private match and tested out the Necrochasm with the Chromatic Fire, and here's what happened. When two people are standing about a guardian width apart, this combo will always kill at any resilience no matter the element of the super you are running. The damage generated by both your explosions will always be enough to pick up the kill. So I had my friends step further and further apart each time, and the radius at which the kill is guaranteed is pretty enormous. It's very generous. Like I said before, it's kind of like a primary Cloudstrike, which is something Fork also said in his video. It's the best way to really describe it. But once the guardians are far enough apart, then the element of your equipped super is more relevant. The Necrochasm Cursed Thrall Explosion actually does a little bit of lingering DOT damage when it hits the target, kind of like Thorn. So when you create a void explosion with Chromatic Fire to cause weaken, it'll increase the amount of tick damage the Necrochasm does. But I actually found that we do more damage with the Solar Scorch because the separate Scorch DOT will just add overall more damage than the weaken bonus for the Necro DOT. Plus the Scorch lingers, so it'll help keep that Guardian weaker for a longer duration, so you have more of a chance to go and chase them down and pick them off. It was consistently doing better damage, so it was settled that Solar was the way to go. And mind you, this is without Ember of Ashes on the Solar subclass, so you could be doing even more damage than shown here. Alternatively, something Fork mentioned in his video was kinetic weapons with the perk Firefly. So I tested it out with the Bygones, and it turns out it was not that great and didn't pick up the kill, so just do yourself a favor and stick with the Necrochasm. So let's move on to some gameplay. Now I may have shown some collats in the intro gameplay, maybe I'm showing them now, I don't know yet, but I really didn't get too many collats in the dozen or so games I recorded because I used this build in Control, which is probably the worst place to use this build in because hardly anyone cares about playing the objective in this mode. This is just the game mode to chill and try out weapons and builds and just relax and not try to sweat it out with the objectives. But where I really see this build putting in the work and getting tons of collabs is probably in Trials or Iron Banner. In Iron Banner, people actually care about winning, so everyone actually plays the objective, so you can catch a lot of people sitting on zones and you can easily collab them off of it if you can get a pick. And in Trials, players will often hold hands so you can team shot, so you can get easy collabs there as well if you can get a pick, like go for a flank or something and catch someone off guard and suddenly two people just explode. And I'm sure you're aware of the old Cloudstrike meta, and if that was able to get easy collabs in Trials, then this definitely can as well. It's definitely worth a try. And in my head, I can picture it being pretty oppressive, and I'll definitely have to give it a try sometime, but for now, I've just been in control. Now, overall, is this exotic worth running? Well, honestly, it's not bad. I'd say yes. Think about what 99% of Warlock players are running anyway. It's either Ophidians or Transversus Steps. One grants a small stat boost and one grants an extended slide. Neither of these exotics do anything in particular for a specific build, they're just exotics to enhance your neutral game. So for Warlocks, your choice of exotic in PvP is really quite versatile, more so than Hunters or Titans. You can really kind of run whatever exotic you want without any downside. So if that exotic just so happens to be the Chromatic Fire, that really ain't a bad thing, to be honest. It's kind of just a free slot. As for the build itself, you really have two options. You can either run it on Prismatic with the Solar Super, or you can just use it on the Solar subclass itself. Both subclasses have their benefits, and it really depends on what you prefer as a player. In the background gameplay, you'll mainly see me on Prismatic, but I did a few games on Solar as well. Solar gives you Ember of Ashes, so your Chromatic Fire Solar Explosions apply more Scorch stacks, and obviously you get the movement of Icarus Dash and Heat Rises to make up for the fact that you're not running Transversive Steps. On the other hand, Prismatic gives your build a lot more stats, so you can easily go with triple hundreds or even quad hundreds in some cases. But most importantly, you get some pretty solid aspects in Hellion and Lightning Surge, which can help you slay out harder in sixes. Personally, I love these two aspects, and it's the main reason that I main Prismatic Warlock in PvP at the moment. Being able to spam these two abilities is pretty dirty, if I do say so myself. They help you win so many fights that you have no business winning. So in other words, these abilities are total cheese. They are the definition of cheese. So yeah, you can either go Solar or Prismatic, depends on your preference. And to be honest, you don't even need to go Solar or Prismatic. You can go on any subclass element you want, because the difference between the Necrochromatic explosions are pretty minuscule, so you can really just run whatever subclass you're comfortable with. Now, our mod setup for both of these builds are the exact same. We got targeting, in-flight compensator, loader, focusing strike, impact induction, unflinching, holster, etc., etc. Same thing on both builds. For our subclass fragments on Solar, we got Ashes, Searing, Torches, and Solace, with our aspects being Icarus Dash and Heat Rises. And for our Prismatic subclass, the only fragment we actually care about is Faceted Blessing to heal on melee kills, which is good with our Electro Slide melee. And the rest of our fragments are literally just there for stat boosts, so you can run whatever you want, it doesn't matter. Faceted Solitude is a good one I'd recommend trying out other than those stat boosting ones. And for my loadout, I'm pairing the Necrochasm along with the Zealot's Reward Fusion Rifle and the Hammerhead Machine Gun, but obviously you can run a shotgun if you want, and you can even run a sniper rifle because the range on Necrochasm isn't the best, so you can just run whatever. And another weapon I considered testing is the good old Explosive Personality with Disruption Break, which is a solid hot swap combo with Necrochasm because it'll give you a 50% damage boost and give you some really cheesy cleanups. And that about does it for the build. Pretty niche build. It's kind of one of those why not type of builds. Like if you're a Warlock player and you wanted to use a rapid fire auto, then this is undoubtedly the best way to take advantage of that. Might as well throw on Necro and Chromatic and go on a rampage. When Iron Banana comes back, definitely give this a try because people really like to clump together on those zones in that mode. I really wish it was Iron Banner now so I could have gotten more collapse in the gameplay, but you know how normal control is. Nobody cares about zones, nobody cares about winning. It's basically just clash and people just want to play the game. So everyone is kind of just a lone wolf, but it is what it is though. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay regardless. So let me know what you think about this build down below in the comments, and as always, a dim loadout link for this build will be down below in the description, and also the pinned comment if you'd like to give it a try. And if you got any buddies who are Warlock mains, I'd appreciate if you share the video with them. Perhaps this is something they might want to try out. And that about does it for the video. A little bit of a shorter one. I did consider doing a top 10 builds of the year video or a top 10 weapons of the year video, but I figured everyone else would be posting a video like that already, so I decided to do to what I typically do, and that is builds. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to hit the like button because it helps out a ton. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing. Would love to have you here for more content on the way. And since this is the last video of the year, I figured I'd take this time to thank everyone who has shown support and left nice comments giving me words of encouragement and motivation. And huge thanks to everyone who has subscribed. We hit 50K this year, which is a milestone I'm very proud of. And next year, I'm hoping we hit 75K or even 100K if I'm lucky. Thank you for helping my dreams come true. This is my dream job, and I wouldn't trade it for any other job. This is what I'd always wanted to do for a living, and I'm glad I'm able to. YouTube may be a very low-paying job. It may be tough to get by, but I'm just glad and thankful to be alive and healthy and to be able to do what I do and make it by. And it's all thanks to you guys. So enough of my corniness. Happy New Year's, and I'll catch you in the next video. See you later.